What is up, everyone? Welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Welcome to a busy Thursday, and today we start with the 80% tournament for the Minish cap with round 3 and DarkySquid going up against FlamesOlsen. And since this is already round 3, these two are pretty much ensured to have a great game. So let's mute the music and switch over to our bracket so we can see how these are going to look like, which you can see right here. So that's the brackets. As soon as they load, they take a bit. So that's the brackets, and as you can see, that's only the upper bracket, and we have FlamesOlsen against DarkySquid in round 3. And without further ado, I just give it over to my commentator of today, who will be Le Grand Grand. Enjoy, everyone.
Hello, everyone. And
Give me a second. We kind of have Twitch ads again, because Twitch is not cooperating. Good job, Twitch.
nice. Well, it's okay because there's just 2 minutes of intro anyway at the start. So like nothing to mention, nothing much to mention. But I'd say that like Darky is a top 3 best runner of this game. He got the record before Toads got his PB with bracelet skip, which, by the way, is a very bad strat, and you shouldn't go for this. And the strat saved like 2 minutes, so he only saved it because he went for a yellow strat and it worked out. So yes, there's that. Technically, like the best run that was ever done without bracelet skip is Darky's PB. So pretty good run on your left, and on your right you're going to have FlamesOlsen, who is quite an old boy now. And he used to be like pretty good at the game back then. But he hasn't played the game too much. He only came back really for the tournament. So his PB is only quote unquote up to 157, but I'm sure he could do much better if he actually put the time into it. And first off, yeah, not really that old, but yeah, you get it. So first off, what they did at the very start of the run was resetting the game in order to manipulate the rupees they're gonna get in the pot. The idea is to get 20 rupees. That's what Flame is going for. He's getting 20 rupees out of the pots. You can also just get 5. The problem is that like it's kind of much harder. It's well words. Okay, let's try to focus a little bit more. It's about the same speed, but getting 20 rupees is a little bit more inconsistent. And as you could see, Darky got the 20 rupees. Flames messed up a little bit his movement, just slightly, and it cost him 5 rupees. So hopefully he get 5 rupees in Deepu Shrine, the first dungeon. Otherwise he's going to have to go for an extra cave, which is kind of unfortunate, but hey, that's what happens. So yeah, technically, like right now, unless he finds 5 rupees more, he's going to be 8 seconds behind Darky right now. And like there's 20 seconds delay between both game streams, so I don't think that I can change the time. I'm trying to fix it, but I'm still at like 16 seconds between both of difference. It's kind of bothering me because I can't actually compare them really well. Anyway, like the first 10 minutes of the run, it's mostly about movement. So there isn't much things to say. Much movement in this game is basically what is going to make the difference between a good runner and a like above average runner. Like it's all the tricks in the run, they're quite easy to get once you have the hang of it. It's pretty great, but like it's just so bad to try and get consistent to try and get good movement. Like that's where the difference is most of the time. For example, I have I discussed it yesterday with PPL. Was pretty much the same PB as me, which is like 149. I have a 150, but it's about the same at this point. And we pretty much can get a 148, but that's not the 146 that you can expect from the top runners. That's like 2 minutes right there. And it's definitely on movement because like yeah, it's really just on movement. If we compare both our splits, they're about the same. And it's always like there's a minute lost in the first hour of the game, which is only movement. So you can assume that it's going to be the same later on. You lose 2 minutes on movement. And so obviously Darky is expected to have much better movement than Flames. So that's where the difference is going to be. And the first split is a very good indicator because usually like a very good time for an enter Deepwood Shrine is 10:07 because the new strats they're using. I'm expecting Flames to get a 10:15. So that's like already in the first 10 minutes, you're already going to see an 8 seconds difference. And like it's the easiest one to figure it out because dungeons obviously have like a little bit more fightings, more RNG involved. You're sometimes going to have to tweak a little bit your movement. The fights are probably not going to go as well. This first part is really just movement. There is nothing that happens. The only fight that there is absolutely completely consistent, and there's no way you lose more than like 0.5 seconds to it. And even then, 0.5 seconds is a lot for what there's going to happen. Already, like, the big movement that you can notice, or you probably can't, is that Darky's rolling is much more efficient than Flames. That's because you always just time your cutscenes, your rolling. And Flame has a much better timing compared to Flames, and that's already saving like a lot of seconds throughout all. Like you have so many rolls that you need to do. It's obviously going to add up at some point, and sometimes like just better rolling cycle is going to save your roll. So like it's quite important. Alright, so first fight. Really easy, you just roll once, hit the right octo and then move a little bit left, hit the second octo and then prepare to have like no movement during the cutscene. Just like that. So yeah, like right now Darky is already like 10 to 15 seconds ahead of Flames. Though like actually their timer started differently. It was there's something that you can do with life blitz where you can just start the race and your timer at the same time. There's an it's pretty great for races. And Flames has that setup like that, and Darky is different. The reason why it matters is because the usual timing when you start a run is when you start the game. But in order to start the races at the same time, we start on reset because we reset the game at the very beginning, and that's just much easier to do this way. So there's like a 5 seconds difference between Flame's timer and the actual time he's getting on this race. Interesting. So, I actually have the same time as Darky when he enters this village. So I actually like lose 5 seconds to the actual village. That's where like the movement is actually pretty technical if you want to go fast here. Nice. They both got to roll into the ladder. It's actually kind of hard to get if it just depends on your roll. If you don't time your roll correctly, then that's it. You're gonna miss. You're gonna miss it. All right. Though, like, I'm actually wondering if like Darky is not going to lose time compared to his PB, but I doubt so. I really doubt so. Oh yeah, so something that's worth noting that I saw on Flames' screen is that in order to match cutscenes in this game, you can actually spin the control stick, because actually like D-pad input works to skip cutscenes, which makes it every time you spin the stick, you're going to get frame perfect inputs technically, right? Because if you're spinning your stick, you're always getting good stuff. Icon Flames already ahead. It's not that Flames is ahead; it's that there is delay. I think it's a problem with French internet, with French Switch, because I used to have like a much lower delay, and I realized like lately I've been having some really high delay, and since Darky is French, I guess it's a French thing. I don't know. Also, massive frames lost, or just me on Darky?
No, it's on Darky's end.
Yeah, okay. Talking about French internet. Oh well. So something worth noting is that every time you're rolling, every time you enter a Neslo cutscene, the game checks that if you're in what state you are. If you are actually like in the state of rolling, the game is going to wait a full roll cycle in order to trigger the cutscene, which is pretty slow. So sometimes in some cutscenes in some you're actually like just going to walk into as triggers as much as possible, and therefore it's going to make like places where it feels like it would be faster to roll, it's actually better to walk. And yeah. Oh my god, what is this cutscene? Oh my god, what is this? Flames pushes the rocks the wrong way. Oh my god. This is glorious. But yeah. Deeper Shrine is such a complicated dungeon. It's just really easy to make mistakes, and it's just very infuriating every time you make a mistake. Because it's supposed to be the first dungeon, right? So it shouldn't be too hard, but I honestly feel like it's one of the hardest dungeons in the game. It's just so tough to get good sections every time. So this fight is very easy, you just kill the top one and then kind of improvise for the two bottom one. The problem is, every time you hit an enemy that is kind of light, and kind of the light type, it's going to run away. Or like be sent away, so you can like actually like, just swing your sword a billion times and it works. You actually like have a delay. It's kind of awkward to learn, especially when you're doing a speedrun. The big problem that you have in a speedrun is trying to do things too fast, and this game is one of the the game where this happens more than enough time, and like fights is one of them. And for example, just hitting the for this boss fight, if you're trying to rush things too much, you can get a three cycle. Basically, like you get three cycle if you hit the tail before the hurt appear, then you're going to be sent back, and then the time it takes to come back, you are usually just going to miss a cycle, and you just feel bad about yourself. Alright, so fun fact, the strat that Flames is using there to unlock the lily pad section is actually better than Darky. It's just slightly better, but Darky is still like ahead by miles, by a good 10 seconds actually. Yeah, just blaming his internet provider. We can't do much about it. And I bet Darky would like to see his frame drops stop. But hey, what can you do? So the little pad section, okay, so Darky, while I was saying that, he got a fast strat. We don't really actually know how it works, so like every time you enter this screen, you can have a little boost. We don't really know how to trigger it. And if you get it, you can basically just save a pump with your gut jar, and they got it. Problem as well is that like you need to react in to react to it, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's really hard to comment on whatever Darky is doing because of all the frame drops. So I apologize about it. And yeah, after this difficult lily pad section that they just went through, we just got the B key, and now it's time for the boss. Pretty easy one. You have 3 cycles with it. The first 2 cycles are pretty much identical. The third one can be either the same, or Green Choo Choo can jump 5 times, which is slightly slower. The other thing that is quite RNG about it is the amount of hits it takes to go through first cycle or second cycle. It can vary from 5 to 9, and obviously you want the least amount of them because, well, actually it's not that obvious because you would think that like the more hits is better, right? But that's not exactly how Green Choo Choo health works. So like you basically have 5 HP on the first phase, 5 HP on the second one, and 3 on the third one. The third one is always consistent. The only difference is like the first and second one. So basically, it's like HP is different every phase. And yeah, a reminder that if you're thinking that like they're quite at the same, like that Darky is like I think his 15 seconds ahead is actually more ahead than that because Flames messed up the manette and he's missing 5 rupees. Which he can get in Mount Canal, but that waits 8 seconds. So unless he gets 5 rupees randomly, he's going to have to go through a cave. Trez, you should. I guess you should try to set up a block for races like that.
The fun part is we actually have ad block in our system. But Twitch started to bake ads into the video feed itself, and that's impossible to block without blocking the entire stream. So, if you get one of these, you can't block them. Unless you don't want to watch the stream.
Well, then I guess you should switch to Prime. Oh, wait!
Oh wait, exactly.
Anyway.
That's what we did for over a year.
Man, Twitch. Anyway, we just got bombs. And if you know Ocarina of Time and games like that, bombs are pretty broken for glitches. So, yeah, we're gonna do a bunch of glitches, right? I'm sorry, this game doesn't work like that. Bombs are only like the secondary item to do glitches. It's not going to be the first one. We're gonna have to wait until getting the moments to actually pull off glitches. That are going to be interesting. You can do glitches with the Ghost Jar right now, actually, because there's a glitch that's known as that allow you to use items on Minish spots, and you can use the Ghost Jar with it. Actually, no, wait, you need the Ocarina glitch with it. Never mind. So you still need like to wait for moments and Ocarina to do glitches in this game. Never mind. The first sequence break that you can do is actually after speaking to Hurdy-Gurdy and getting the Kingston bag. You can just save and quit, and that skips fusing with Hurdy-Gurdy. You kind of don't want to do that in 100%, because in 100% you need to do all Kingston fusions, and you also need all hearts. And there is a quarter heart that is blocked if you do that. So you actually do that fusion in 100%. Though there is like another glitch you can do. You can do guts and walking, but hey. It's actually more interesting, I guess, but yeah. That's saves making the fusion button. However, that means that we're going to be stuck with blue Kingston in our bag for the rest of the run. Which is going to be a little bit annoying whenever we're gonna do fusions in this game. Yo, okay, so I lied. You can do cool glitches with bombs. Darky just pulled it off right here, right there. So every time you and Flames got it as well. Wow. So every time you throw, you pull a bomb, it's going to have a timer set on it in order to see like how long it's going to take to explode. You can speed that up by doing either taking and dropping the bomb. It's going to save 30 frames, or you can do even better, which is like pulling the bomb and then going down 1 frame and pressing roll down or up, for that matter, and pressing roll right after going down for 1 frame, and it actually saves the full second if you do that. The problem is it's frame perfect, so like it's a bad thing to rely on it, but I guess it's cool to look at. I really wouldn't recommend anyone to go for it though. Like, go for it if you want to, but it's kind of a bad idea to go for it. Oh my god, Flame, why are you going for it here? It's not worth it at all. Like, the problem with this place is that if you roll it like that and you don't like manage to get to the problem is that actually you're going to miss the block if you do that. Or I guess probably a task is able to do the roll lift and put it on the block, but I doubt that human is able to do that. It's a bad idea. So yeah, we did that in order to get the Mongongo water, Montreal water. And if you spill it, you cry as well, because you need to come back all the way back here in order to get it for the little plant that we're gonna give it to. Because like in order to get to the second half of Montreal, like to next third of Montreal, because like the bottom of Montreal is only like 1/3 of the area. You need this seed, and you need to water it with special water. Yeah, and that's the other showed with FFZ emote. It has happened quite often for pretty much every runner to just spill the water accidentally on your way to getting the seed or sprout, whatever you want to call it, and you just feel bad about it. So another thing that you can do in Montreal is that you can hit that mushroom with the gas jar from below. You're kind of not supposed to do that, but you can do it anyway. It saves going through a cave, so it's a pretty neat time save, and it's really easy to do. You just use the gas jar and you're good. That was a nice way to go around those p-hat. Those p-hats here are like the worst nightmare you can have in this game. Because you can't kill them with a sword, it takes forever. Once they see you, they're going to run after you at increased speed. And they're really, really annoying. Yeah, Link is super strong. For some reason, you can take that sprout, but you can't push the bots, for example, as a Minish. You can't push them unless you get the right item. And so, like, that kind of makes no sense to me, but sure. So, yeah, Flames show it right there. He messed up his bomb timing, or like he got hit by a p-hat, whatever. So it showed that like if you pull a bomb, if you've got nothing else to do, if you have some waiting to do, you just pull the bomb and throw it right away before picking it back again and throwing it to the right place. Because it's safe for 30 frames, so you may as well. It's completely free to get. Well, roll lift is much more difficult to strike. Then again, it's one frame. It's basically frame perfect on a 60 frame per second game, and you can just like you can also mess up the input and actually like roll before pulling the bomb, and then it wastes even more time. Like it's just annoying. Unless you're like 90% consistent with it, then you shouldn't go for it. Okay, so like what happened to Flames here is really unfortunate. It got that p-hat here. If you're trying to pull the mushroom, is never going to aggro you because it's not in his range or whatever. But it can still be in the way, and that's basically what happened there. And if that happens, then you need to kill the Tektite, because the Tektite actually like aggro takes aggro, and is going to hit you if you mess up the section. Oh no, Flames! Oh, this is hard. So crushing. I did not pay attention to his HP. I think that's the first death we have in Montreal. Yeah, I mean, he took a lot of damage, so I'm not too surprised with it. But yeah, if you die on the way to Montreal, which is, by the way, one of the easiest way to die in this game, one of the easiest place to die in this game, because there's boulders and they'll want half a hurt of damage. You've got the raindrops that are not really easy to dodge. You've got all those enemies. You've got p-hat. You've got bombs. Because like you can speed up stuff to the cost of of half a hurt by just taking the bomb explosion when you're opening a door. That's like not a good idea here, because like we saw, you can just easily die. And then you have to do the whole time again. It's just this is what happened here. That was pretty funny. So Flames was just walking and walking and walking. That goes like he kind of was waiting for Ezlo cutscene to appear, because like it's better to just walk at the start of the area because of Ezlo cutscene. It's just a thing, but since it got it before dying, now it's not going to appear again. So it was just working. I would have definitely got hit by that. Like it's some of the things that it just happens. You enter the little rain area, you start walking. You don't roll. No way you roll. All right, Cable Flame on Darky's side. He's quite ahead now. Yeah, that bomb throw was not well timed. Got roll it though, which isn't too bad, I guess. So Cable Flame has a lot of fighting, but it's rather easy fight to do, provided that you get good enough RNG. So like depending on the patterns the enemies are going to have and stuff. It's not too hard. The harder thing is just adapting the strat to the pattern you're gonna get. It's not a really hard dungeon per se though. Like, it's definitely easier to do most of the things in this dungeon than it is in Deeper Shrine. At least for me. I'm mostly speaking for me because yeah. I have my way of playing. Alright, so it looks like Darky got the perfect RNG in this fight. Or pretty much perfect. Like, what you want is that the bottom one is going to stay around here and not charge up right when you enter the screen. And usually most of the time the two top ones are going to charge down, so you can make them take off their shield right when you enter the screen. So that's basically 3 enemies already killed. And the fourth one you kind of have to figure out what you do when he's charging, and just hit him in the back, which Darky did really well. Yeah, it could have been right before entering the mine, but like still, it's a good minute lost right there. A minute is a lot of time. Like, if you want a good example of what a minute time loss can be, it's failing the Lake Hylia Ocarina glitch and not having saved before, so you need to go to South Hero Field and get a ferry there and come back, take damage again, and go for it again and get it. That's how much a minute is. That's like, when you say it like that, I just feel like it gives you a much better idea of how bad it is. And that's kind of a reason why most of the runs are resetted here on the climb of Montreal, because you just take damage so easily that you can just die. And there goes the run. Alright, anyways, they're both in Cave of Flame. Darky quite ahead, finished the first section here. Now he's heading for the King of Patrick fight. While Flames is gonna grab the small key. Oh well, that first he's going to do the Mildozer? No, Helmazor fight. And then gets a small key. And very well done here. So like, that's basically the textbooks for this fight, showing that you don't actually need to hit the 3 enemies on the left with a spin attack. You can hit 2, then kill the third one, then kill the top one, and then start the spin attack and kill the 4 last ones at the same time. You can, I actually pulled that off earlier on an offline run. You can actually hit the top one, slash the bottom one, and just once, and then go back to the top one and do the spin attack, and it should kill all of them. The same way you kill the 4 ones, you can actually kill the 5th one, the bottom one, at the same time if you do that this way. Kinda want to document that just to show it's possible, but like, it's kind of much harder than hitting the 2 bottom one and kind of fixing the mistakes this way. I was really happy when I pulled that off because I really did not expect that to happen. Roll bites here. Nothing much to say about it. There's little traps right there. You can actually not get hit by them, so you're always going to get hit at least once, sometimes twice. If like, I don't really know why, but like sometimes I get hit twice. I don't really know why it happens. But like yeah, just faster. So this room right there was done really well by Darky. And after that, when he was pulling the lever, it's slightly faster to pull the lever and release every time you pull it once, because it kind of resets the pull timing thing shenanigan, so like it goes faster. I don't think it's, that flame goes for it, so you're going to be able to see the difference. Like the cycle every time you pull is much slower, and I think it's like up to like a second or something. It adds up really fast, and it's not that hard to do the fast pulling strat thingy. Alright, so coming up is the 5 platforms. You can save a cycle by like going through the middle platform and getting the next platform. You can't really save more because then you're still going to wait on the last platform, but yeah. Also, Trez, you might want to know that, but your mic is not muted, so we have some background noises. I don't know if that's planned or not, but there you go. For one. Alright, so the big room that Dark is entering right now is on a cycle. You need to kind of go fast to catch a cycle on the last platform. Is moving up and down. But at the same time, we want the kinstone that is on the bottom right and bottom left. And if you take the kinstone, you may as well grab the ruby chest because it doesn't make you lose a cycle. The problem is that like cycle is much tighter this way. It's still very well doable. Like once you figure out what the movement is supposed to be, it's really not that hard to do it. You don't even need to roll here, which I see people do, and I kind of disagree with, because it just makes things less consistent, in my opinion. You can do it with walking, and walking is much more easier to control than rolling around. Alright, so Clear Rock is, again, it's recycled. It's actually faster to... Yeah, as you can see, Flames is not doing the fast pull strat. So Clear Rock is recycled. It's actually faster to hit his shell from the top. Because the animation where he goes down is much faster, but like, you can't really do that on the first cycle because it just takes so long to go to the top and make his head look at the top. So you just hit it on the first cycle at the bottom right away. You can even do that before he fires any flame. And then he's in Darky. I hope he's going to try and manipulate his head for to be at the top when he's going to try to destroy the shell. Okay, couldn't really do that because Gliara did not want to cooperate, but it's still faster to like just destroy the shell as soon as possible, as long as it's not annoying because of the flame that is around the area. It's not a really hard boss though. It's kind of hard to do when you're trying to like go really fast, and sometimes like the shell hitbox is going to be blocked off by the head, and it's sometimes kind of hard to figure out. But tournament is no OB. There is actually out of bounds in this game, but we're not going to see them for a while. there is a glitchless category that is like 30 minutes. Actually, the record is like 2:18 or something. And the record in any percent is 1:45, so you save the whole 40 minutes with glitches. I think that's like if you did no out of bound, you would save 5 minutes. It's not that big. It's still big. Still pretty big. Actually, no, you save more because like technically the BK escape in the Fortress of Wind is actually out of bound. Would we count boss door clipping with out of bound? I don't know. Sounds weird. Probably, yeah. It saved like a good 10 minutes. That's about it. I think Flame missed it. Flame missed the fight cycle by 10, and that loses 10 seconds. Again, it's like easy to get, but do one little mistake and you're gonna miss the cycle. I didn't pay attention to whatever Flames was doing, but it's one of the hard things that beginner have with this game, apparently. Even though like it's just following the movement, like a good advice I would give to just get it consistently is just follow whatever Darky or Fire Turtle or Toads do to get it. And I would recommend Darky because he has input display, so it can really help to figure out like how exactly he does whatever he does with his controller or his keyboard here. Would really help runners having trouble with it. There's also a strat that was developed by Mod guy. I don't remember his name. I just know that like Mod who's I don't know, like someone's going to say it in chat, but you can get the 60 rupees you need. Mod girl, yeah. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you can you can like get 60 rupees elsewhere. That was a weird movement with the head on Glarok side. I don't know what Flame is doing right now. I feel like he's just messing around, but it's just that he feels confused, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, you can get 60 rupees elsewhere, and you can actually do the Kinstone Manip that we're gonna do in after getting the Pegasus boots twice in order to get the Kinstones you need. So obviously it's slower. You lose like 10 seconds, I think, but if you're inconfident with this room, like if you feel you never get it, you might as well go for it. But again, I don't think it's that bad if you put the proper practice in. All right, so we got a stronger sword, and now we can actually get clones just like in 4 Stars Adventures. I really like the way Darkies do the room living Haru Castle, because like it looks fast, but at the same time it like it's absolutely not what the task does. So I wonder like if the task was actually like not thinking out the room, or it just has a slower strat that looks cooler and looks faster, but it actually isn't. Flames hitting the tornado, that's kind of unfortunate, but hey, happens. So that coming. Anyways, the Moblin fight that we just saw, it has like 3 different strat or something. There's a beam strat for this fight. It all looks like the same. Darky here went for a kind of slower strat. I guess is much more consistent, but at the same time I was expecting the Moblins to move around this way, so that's why like I'm a little confused with how we handled that, but hey, as long as they die fast on their first charge, it's pretty much alright. I guess. So now that we can clone, we're going to go on a push block adventure, which is just like this cave that we visited a long time ago. Before heading to Montreal, we can actually push that block now. And this is going to allow us to unlock some Pegasus Boots subquest, as well as a bunch of cutscenes. Pegasus Boots are going to be very, very, very handy when they come when they arrive. One, because like you kind of need them, and two, because it's just going to make movement a whole lot easier. At least on long distance. Not really on smaller distance, because you need to charge them and you've got roll. But it's going to be really useful. And it's kind of for this quest actually that we need rupee, because that's the only moment where we ever need rupees again after getting the bottle and the grip ring. We need 60 rupees, so we've got a 40 overkill of rupees, which we're gonna keep. Bag. No reason to get whatever extra. And actually, I don't think you can get anything interesting for 40 rupees anyway. So I remember someone mentioning that, like, asking if, like, Flames was on Virtual Console or not. I'm pretty sure he's on cartridge. So which means that we're not going to see the cool, unique Wii U VC strat, because Wii U VC has like slightly faster loading, and most importantly faster save and quit. So I actually, instead of leaving the desk this way, you can actually save and quit on Wii U and it's faster. That looked really close on Flame's side. Oh my god. He got the strat though. Like, this is the fastest strat you can go for in RTA. Pretty glad he got it. It's a little bit more risky than what Darky went for, but it's faster. And yeah, so the game tells you that you need to go to the forest in order to get the whatever you need to wake up the shoemaker. You actually can get to the witch set the way we entered Deeper Shrine, because there's water in between. So instead we have to go all the way around like that. I really wonder what like the test as well does this little section slightly differently in London Ranch, and like you can do it in RTA just fine. So I wonder why like people don't go for it. At the same time, I don't time anything, so there's that. But yeah, questions. So after the few cutscenes that we're gonna see here, there's actually not going to be a whole lot more cutscenes. Only like dungeon-related stuff, which is very few cutscenes, and well, endgame as well. But like until Dark Hero Castle, we're not going to see much more cutscenes than that. This is the one section where we have a lot. It's pretty interesting seeing that like Darky is already getting his shoes while Flames is actually just triggering the cutscene. That's a giant difference right there. And anyway, boots are pretty handy if the postman is not in the way. They allow you to go faster on long distance compared to rolling. It's only faster if you have 3 or more rolls to do. And actually 3 roll is about the same speed as boots. So most of the time you just want to roll. Because you only have 2 item slots. A and B, and sometimes boots are not going to be available. So we're still going to see a lot of rolling. First, Darkened fight. No problem, just fine. So this is the strat you kind of always should go for. You do 2 bonks. That this Darknet gives you, you have to do another bonk again or not. So basically Darkness have 2 patterns. Either they're going to slash the sword when you're not facing them, that is, or they're going to charge at you and charge it, and the charge attack is actually like faster. Getting water for as preparation for the next split. No, the next 2 split actually. And now we need to get the boomerang. That was a pretty okay fight. This fight is a mess anyway. And after the save and quit, which is already faster than walking your way out of this Minish area, you need. Well, we still need green kinstones. We need a JP and a J arrow, and we just got that with RNG manipulation. Just the same way we got the blue rupees at the start of the run. Every time you reset the game is always going to start at the same with the same random number, and is always going to go through the same list of random numbers. That's how most GBA games work. And that means that like every time you do the same inputs on a reset, you're always going to get the same pattern. It has to be frame perfect though, so like in some places it's much easier to do that than in others. And when I say frame perfect, it's only really here kinda, because the way RNG works in this game is that it's always only used whenever it's called for. So like the game doesn't change RNG every frame. So RNG is like the usual term for randomness in video games. It's random number generator. So like every time the game needs to know like, okay, I have a choice to do between going left and going down, for example, or I have a choice to do between Link's voices whenever he slashes his sword. So I'm going to use the random number generator. It's going to give me a number, and depending on the number, it's going to give me a value. But other than that, I'm not going to use that function ever. So like it's really easily manipulable as long as this function is not called too often. And that's kind of why we can use that. Most of the times the way other games fix that was by just using that function for no reason, or like making it dependent on for example, I think that there is one console out there that uses the temperature of the CPU in the console to actually like figure out which number to call for. So like it uses that. So that makes RNG manip absolutely impossible. Which is kind of the way to make it like actually kind of random, because there's no actual randomness in video games. So yeah, there's that. And while I was blabbering about technical stuff, we've kept going quite a while, and now we entered not Fortress of Wind, but Windruins, which is pretty much just a dungeon in the in the overworld, which is really interesting. It's a really fun area. Always really liked it. You basically like have a bunch of rooms and you need to figure out how to progress through them. Because there is different stuff to do. You just don't have to roll and randomly and do stuff. It's pretty interesting. So here you just need to turn off the statue, otherwise it's going to block the way. And here you need to kill the 3 ropes, which are easy to kill, and the hygiene right here, which are pretty annoying. No flames, water. Oh, okay. So, the problem with RNG Manip, and that's why Flames is dying here, is that if you are low on health, just like OT, if you know Ocarina of Time, the game is going to give you different drops. So like if you're low on hertz, the game is going to favor her drops, which kind of changes the drop system. So like for example, if the Kinston has like a 5 out of 16 chance to pop, on normal circumstances, if the her drop is going to be increased, then the chance to get Kinston is going to be decreased, and that kind of kills the strat. The problem is, like, it happens when you have the critical health. So you would assume that critical health is when you have the Basic sign on, right? Except it's not true in this game. Critical health when you have 5 hertz is when you are at 1 hertz, and the beeping only starts when you have 1 hertz and a quarter, yeah. So you can actually still do the RNG manip with 1 hertz and a quarter, and be fine. However, if you lose that quarter hertz, it's not gonna work anymore. Even though like it seems like it's the same for the player, it's different for the game because it's not critical health. I'm not sure if that's like makes sense, but yeah, basically what Flames did was a mistake. I learned that the hard way, by the way. Like I did not like actually like yeah, I've this is a strat. I knew that like critical health at some point was going to change the drops, and like one day I just went for it because I was at like 1 hertz and a quarter. So I was thinking, yeah, it's critical health, so I probably can get it. I actually did. So I was thinking, yeah, the strat still works with critical health. And one day I arrived with less than a hertz and a quarter, and it didn't work. That's where basically like tested it out and realized, yeah, okay, so it works with a hertz and a quarter, but not with less. It's kind of dumb. I wish more people knew about it, though. I wish that Flames knew about it when it did. Anyway, Fortress of Wind is pretty much done here because we're getting the moments, and as I teased that earlier, moments is where we can start doing glitches. So he actually is going to skip the second, getting the second key, which is like on the left, and then skipping getting the B key. So it saves 3 minutes. That's about like half of the dungeon. You skip this way. And we're going to use a glitch that I mentioned before, which is using items on Minish, but I mentioned it was a gut draw because it has some interesting effects in conjunction with another glitch. But here we're going to first there is armor click. All right, let's see. Got it, just nice. All right, so that saves 8 seconds. There's only like 3 people going for it out there. There's Darky, you've got Furito, and you've got Toadsuit, who is not in the tournament. It looks pretty cool. I'm going to retard my chat because I see no one talking. But yeah, and after that he used the mole mates on the Minish bot. That gave him extra height, or like extra distance. It's not enough to go out of bound like it did. So you need to take damage, bomb explosion, in order to get a little bit more height. You've got like 4 frames to work with, so like it's really not that hard to get. The damage you get just gives you a little bit more upward distance, and you can just go through like that and go out of bound and GG. That's the only place where this glitch is going to be used, by the way. Now, muzzle is 3 cycle. Whichever pillar you need to hit in order to damage him is random. It can be the same pillar 2 rounds in a row. So you've got that in your favor to kind of figure out where the next one is going to be and kind of figure out path. Basically, like, the only annoying thing about that is whenever it's in the middle, you kind of can't really do anything about it. It's kind of annoying. When it's on the side, it's much more easier to get a good route. But like, Darky got a bad search cycle. This boss fight has actually like a slightly faster strat using boots and arrow, because you can, whenever you fire an arrow, you've got a little bit of a delay before you can do anything else. You can cancel that by using the boots, which is cool. That's a technique called arrow cancel. And you can use that on the third cycle to speed it up, but the strat is kind of dumb. And apparently no one ever got it in a run. But still, like, it's documented somewhere on the Discord and on YouTube. It looks really, really cool. If you want to check it out. Alright, so I also mentioned that Ocarina is an item that allows us to glitch through the game. And it's going to be useful. Tresco is not commenting because he's just resuming. Yeah, he doesn't really know much about the game. He's a pleb, just like you. So Ocarina allows us to do crazy glitches. Really only one, which is triggered by canceling entering areas animations. We could call it like that. And we're going to use it right here. So like, you enter an area and then you cancel it with Ocarina animation. You've got 1 frame for it, just like that. And then you can you basically prevent tell the game that, like, okay, Link entered an area, so I can stop loading collisions in it. Well, collisions being everything that's not a wall. Link is also going to be in a weird state where he can't go down a layer. So like, he can't like, he can't go down. He can still go up, but he can't go down. And that's what allows us to move and to be above water. It also, and because of that weird state, it's also going to give you a very good chance to crash. If you roll, if you open the menu, if you try to talk to someone, if you bonk as well, on the screen you trigger Ocarina glitch. So here we're doing that Ocarina glitch by making a lady push us into the cafe, and then once we're pushed enough, you go up and press Ocarina glitch Ocarina, so you have like 1 frame to pull the Ocarina when you're going up. And this game is on 60 FPS, by the way, so it's not trivial to get. It's just a timing thing, so it's not too hard to be consistent at it, but you're never like truly consistent 100%. Because it's a 1 frame on 60 FPS. It's 1 in 60, it's not that easy. But yeah, we did that in order to get my Flames going for the glitch, the BK escape, got it. We're doing that in order to gets bracelets. Because like the way we used to do it before was like in order to get the bracelet you need to get the second book, to get the first book, to start the book quest. But we don't do that anymore. Why? Because we don't need the books. And why do we don't need the books? That's because we don't need the flippers anymore. We just need the magic boomerang, and getting the magic boomerang instead of the flippers saves 3 minutes. What happened to Flames? Flames died in Montreal, and is overall much slower than Darky. Like if you want to compare their PBs, Darky's PBs is a 145, and Flames is a 157. So that's 12 minutes difference. And Darky is not on a terribly bad run. It's a much better run than many people in the community can do. Like I think that there's only 3 people that could match his the time he's getting right now. Even though like it's not a great run for him, it's much better than most people playing this game. Anyway, getting the boomerang is the reason why we got 4 Grankin stones. We need to fuse with all the Tingle brothers. So first you need to fuse with Tingle and then talk to him in order to make the other Tingle appear. And then you need to fuse with all the Tingles. And then you need to go into those 4 huts, hit the trigger, and then get the boomerang in order to fully skip flippers. Now, as you saw before, we can get Ocarina Glitch, and that allows us to go above water, basically, right? So we could technically enter Temple of Droplet, which is the next dungeon, before without even the magic boomerang. The problem with it is that once you're in Temple of Droplet, you can't progress if you don't have the flippers in glitchless. But if you use glitches, then you can actually skip the flippers. It makes the route in Temple of Droplet 20 seconds slower than doing it normally, but it's still faster because you just skip the flippers. Really, that's the main reason why we do that route. Alright, so Darky got all his finished fusing with people with the Tingles. He's now getting his boomerang, while Flames is actually getting his boomerang, and after that he's going to get the bracelets, and then off we go. So technically, like, why would you need the bracelet? Are you going to ask me? Because you don't need it for the book quest, right? Because you like know how to play the game. Well, you still need it for Palace of Wind. You need it for 1 room in order to push pots. Actually, you don't, because there's a glitch that you can do in order to skip bracelet. It saves a minute 50, but it's super inconsistent, and you should never go for it. Alright, so Flames is going for the slow setup. Basically, what Darky went for is he waited for he was held by the lady in order to open the door, and well, not open the door, but actually just get a Ocarina glitch, even though the door was not open. What the Flame did is a little bit different. It's slower, but it's more consistent, kinda. If you're basically, like, he opened the door, and then he did Ocarina glitch. Alright, so here we're going to open the door, die at the same time as we open the door, which is going to make the door open, but that's going to allow us to not enter the house while the door is open, which is basically like the problem with Ocarina glitches in with houses. And after that, you get a current glitch. If you fail it, you're sad. Or like rather, if you are too late and you enter the house, you're sad because then you need to reload. And just like that, we hover through water. And before hitting the Temple of Droplet entrance, you use Ocarina glitch, Ocarina again, in order to cancel Ocarina glitch. Because if you still have Ocarina glitch active, entering Minish spot, then you soft lock. That's one of the things I forgot to mention before. And there you go, you are in Temple of Droplet. But again, I did mention that you can progress without the flippers or without the magic boomerang. But how are you going to do that? You're gonna tell me like the magic boomerang is completely useless. It's a completely useless item. You just use it in order to stun enemies or hit anti-fairies and get fairies. So like, how can that be useful? Well, just watch. We're first going to get the small key here down there in order to go faster in Temple of Droplet later on. It's actually not necessary for the next trick that's coming up. We're still going to get. We're also going to get the big key, and that one is necessary for the trick to come. In the old route with the flippers, you would usually just get the small key and then bypass the big door and then keep going. The problem is that like a room after that, after skipping the big key, you need the flippers. So like, how are you going to do that? That's a big question. All right. So what we're gonna do, I guess I can spoil it a little bit now. Well, Darky's internet is completely gone. Is that we're first going to get Ocarina glitch in order to get to the big key room that saves the small key, because that small key you're supposed to use it in order to get the big key. Yeah, looks like the Darky's internet is completely dead. It's kind of sad. Too bad. Meanwhile, you can watch Flame stream. He's on his way to pick up his boomerang, doing his final fusion. He got a bunch of extra kinstones, funnily enough, which were actually like irrelevant for the run. And he's going to basically do like the few glitches, the few stuff that you couldn't catch on Darky's stream. Oh hey, I'm actually seeing the slideshow now. Because until that, I was not seeing anything on Darky's side. So there is a few chests here while you're grabbing the boomerang. It's actually like a 3 red kinstone and a shell chest. You actually use that most of the time in 100%. It's quite cool. You died while AFK. What are you talking about? Alright, so now he's going to use the big key in order to open the big door. But while he's going to do that, looks like that his internet is back up a little bit. He's going to use a boomerang and keep it active. That way, like, the game loads Link in this next room, while still keeping the first room active, which allow us to go out of bound basically and stay out of bound with the Ocarina glitch that prevents her from going down the layer. And that allows us basically to enter this room, which we need to go around and a lot and get the blue wire. The problem is that, like, all the shenanigans that we did in order to set up that took a little while, and it loses 20 seconds. But now we actually don't need the flipper for anything. And we successfully skipped flippers. Meanwhile, Flames is getting a small key. Yeah, wait, hold on. His bitrate is better, but his, like... I just realized that, like, he's hold on, I need to reload everything, because Darky is like 130 and the timer of the race is 115. I did not realize. It's like so far behind because all the delay, because of the stream being terrible. Well, he's now fighting because, like, I was thinking, yo, Flames actually managed to save some time, but not really. So good old Blue Chew. It's basically the green shoe, but what the fuck are you doing, Flames? That's not the strat. Oh yeah, he's back finally at normal time. He actually finished the Blue Chew fight. Neat! But all you gotta know is that, like, it's 3 cycle. And the only thing is that, like, you need to wait in between every cycles, because it's a dumb fight. And now that we got the lantern, which is necessary in order to just beat Octo, really, that's the only place where it's required for. We're going to finish and get to the last fight of the dungeon. And good old out of bounds, skipping 70% of the dungeon. Really only so what, like what? 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 room, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only so like 10 rooms of the dungeon. Everything else was completely skipped. I'll bet slowly, but we skipped most of the dungeon. It's like we're actually speedrunning the game. You're only set that double multiplier isn't in any percent because you will run glitches for double. So if you are going to watch glitchless runs of this dungeon is probably the hardest one. Oh my god, Flames is missing. So right now Flames is trying to get Ocarina glitch, and again it's up plus Ocarina that you have to do, and it is a frame late every time. It's really soul crushing because the frame rate is so slow. So you're seeing a bunch of Big Octo emotes in chat. That's because Big Octo is the run killer of the game. He has 3 cycles again. The first one is only going to shoot rocks, and you need to stream back his 3 rocks. You can either do it with shield or sword. Second cycle is still a pattern, though he gained a new attack. So first he's going to suck you and to try and suck you in, then throw boulders and suck and double boulder, and it repeats. Though you shouldn't see the repeat because you're betting it already. The third cycle is where RNG kicks in, and it can either throw three boulders at you, or try to suck you in and throw a boulder, and then use the ink attack, which wastes 20 seconds. So at best you're only going to see the ink attack twice. You can also see random charges in between, which like are kind of slow, but they are not so crushing. The big problem with the suck attack right there is that it hits for hurt of damage, and that's a lot of hurt of damage when you only have 4 hurts. So like if like Big Octo decides to do 2 ink and then suck you in the third time before throwing the final boulder, well, you just lose 3 hurts because you kind of try to send the boulder back as soon as possible. Only 1 ink though for Darky, so he's out. But yeah, like all that just to say that you can actually die to this boss if you get really bad patterns, which totally did not happen to me on a very, very good run yesterday. So alright, 1 ink. And a lot of time lost for Darky while he was trying to solve his internet and avoid dying, but looks like it did it, so. And it's still ahead by quite a lot. So after that, what you're supposed to do is that like you're supposed to go to Cloud Tops in order to get to the Palace of Wind. In order to do that, you need to do a fusion in Veil's Fall. And in order to do that fusion in Veil's Fall, you need a very specific canción that is in the Valley of King. And that's what the guy hints you there. But you can skip all of that. And also, in order to go to the Valley of King, you need to get to imbue the sword with the water element. You can scale all that with the current glitch, though. The problem is that you still need the sword level, in order to complete Palace of Wind. And that's what Darky is going for right now. Is going to imbue his sword and then skip everything. And how are you going to do that, by the way? How are you going to skip stuff? So remember we did a fusion with a strange guy with a red Kinstone, and it created a teleport in South Hero Field. Well, this is where we're gonna go. Basically, this is the side quest in order to get the Ball of Light. Like slightly stronger bow is not like really important, just an improvement after the old bow, and it's actually missable if you don't do that side quest before finishing Cloud Tops. That's the actual trigger for it. And yeah, we're basically going to enter the House of Wind with that teleporter, and Arcana Lich is a very useful item that allow you to or like useful glitch that allow you to go through any sprites, anything that has collision that is not a wall. And by the way, this guy right there is a wall. You can talk to them though, because otherwise you self-lock. But you can go through them. On the screen you trigger Arcana Glitch. And just like that, we did it. And this is where the European version can do everything that we did so far. The fights are a little bit harder, some of them, but everything up until now you can do the same. The problem is that once you leave Palace of Wind, on the European version you can't use the Ocarina, so you waste like 30 seconds leaving the House of Wind. It's not true on the Japanese version and the US version. The US version though cannot use items on Minish Palace, so it can skip the big key in Fortress of Wind. Also, the boomerang, even though we only really got it for flipper skip, is still a very useful item, particularly in this dungeon. As I explained before, you can use it on anti-fairies in order to get fairies. It also can speed up some rooms where you would kind of want to use bombs or use arrows in order to hit far away switches, because it's still faster to use than everything else. And this fight right there, bombs one-shot the wizards, lantern as well. So Darky really messed up that fight. And the idea is to use a conjunction of bombs and the lantern to kill all the wizards as they appear on the screen. It looks really cool when you pull it off, and it's actually like quite hard. But you can also do it with sword and bombs, but it's much harder. So here we just get the whole floor, just like that. Oh no, Darky! Alright, so the problem is right now, okay, we still got it. It's kind of just on the timings the way you just hit that platform, because you don't really have any vision over it. But Darky got it back just fine. There's a handful of skips in this dungeon. One of them is well, I explained that you can get Ocarina glitch with canceling animations of entering stairs or entering houses. I didn't say that it was also entering stairs, but you probably figured out now. Darky got so Flames got zeroing, but he messed up the strat because Octo was still close to him. Actually, never mind. He still got. Wait, no, he got one. He got one. Never mind. I was too busy watching Darky. He got a pretty good pattern for one though. So yeah, this room right there, this is where you need the bracelet. You can actually skip it by doing the last kind of way to trigger your Ocarina glitch. So I was saying stairs, and there is houses. You can also use it with cutscene. So every time you kill enemies in a room and there is a cutscene triggering after that, you have one frame where you can use the Ocarina. If you manage to press the Ocarina on that frame, you get Ocarina glitch state. The problem is that like it's a one frame trick, and you have one chance for it. And it's 150. It saves 1 minute 50 to get it. But if you don't get it, then you have to restart because you don't have to reload because you don't have the bracelet, and therefore you lose 2 minutes. And sure, it's a one frame trick on a 60 FPS game, so it's not too hard for people who are good already with Ocarina glitch, right? It's not really true because you can't buffer the A input or the B input. So it's it's just there's no way you get consistent at it. You can get good at it, but there's no way you get consistent at it. Also, after this ball and chain room, there is a chance to get a Katsunoji as well, and that saves 40 seconds. If you don't get it though, you just don't save 40 seconds. So let's see if Darky get it. You're trying to go bufferless. My boy. I guess that makes two of us going for bufferless because I have a 10% consistency at this rate, whether or not I buffer for it. So yeah. Well, he felt it. It was 1 frame away though. I was 1 frame away. Alright. So basically skip those 4 rooms. The room with the skeleton and cloning tiles, this fight, and you come back here pretty much. We'll see if Flames get it. We'll see if he also has trouble with the current glitches again. It does. Flames, I'm so sorry. The problem with Ocarina glitches is that once you don't have the timing, it's lost forever. Or it feels like it's lost forever. It's so annoying. It's one of the most... It's the most frustrating thing in this game, by the way. Alright, so... Darky got boss door clipping, which skips the second half of the dungeon. Here. You keep going down and doing the whole inside part of the dungeon. It's pretty neat, and you just need to press the lantern and then press R or A. As long as the lantern is on B, it's really easy to get. And Georg, it's a rather pattern for it. It can get sketchy from time to time, but it's really a giant pattern, really. Just need to execute the strat and it's good. We've got 4 cycles on the red Georg and 3 on the blue Georg. And those little orbs deal 3/4 hurt of damage, so you kind of want to dodge them. Also, they destroy your clones, so you can deal damage to Georg easily. That is. I think the tails deals like a hurt of damage as well, so you really want to dodge it. Worth noting that once Blue Georg is going to destroy, the tail is actually still going to be able to hit you. So if you're not careful and if you don't really know about it, you can die easily. I totally don't have an example of a run that died because of it. Oh no. So the red Georg, you can kill it with into cycle after the first one and the last one. Second and third it's 2 cycles you need to do, but Darky got some low damage on the first cycles and missed the quick kill. Alright, so right there is still active. That was too early, and I'm sure Darky knew about it and just felt as bad as me. That's it. That's Georg. Alright, so the Wizard fight on Flames screen. It's already going much better than Darky's. He's not getting the third cycle. Still going to be able to kill 4 wizards. And then the 2 last ones are easy. Nice fight on the Flame side. He just couldn't pull out the bombs for the third cycle. Alright, so we got our last element, so now we can make the 4 swords. Great again, and I already said that I would stop making this bad joke. And now he's going to make the 4 swords. And when you get the Force Sword, it's when you trigger the final dungeon of the game. Alright, so it looks like from the splits we have here, so they both have splits for Rockscape. It looks like Flames is 8 minutes behind Darky's time. And Darky is already like 5 minutes behind his PB or something, so there's really no chance that any of the two PB, which is understandable considering that their runs were kind of bad for what they would like on a PB run. And now we get cutscenes. Yay. So coming up, coming up is DHC, and that's definitely the hardest dungeon of the game. It's a dungeon that is both hard to do to learn because there is a lot of tricks and strats to learn, and it's also really hard to execute because there's a lot of Ocarina glitches, and there's a lot of free tough fights against Darknuts and such. So it's like both hard to get a good time and learn. And the first thing that we're going to see is cutscene walking, hopefully. So there is a setup for it that was found by Quo. And basically the idea of this trick is to trigger two cutscenes at the same time. So here we're going to trigger the Ezlo cutscene at the same time as the Minister cutscene. And while the Minister is getting saved, we're saving another soldier, and so on. It's actually faster to save the Minister than the bottom guard, than the left guard. But apparently, like, it's a thing that the task does, and no one does it besides a few people who watches the task or watched the task lately or did the task, also known as Core. Alright, so let's see if Flames get the skip thingy. He's going for burst bufferless. YOLO. Mashing Ocarina. He got it! Flames, my man. Got the glitch. Alright, so you're going to see what this looks like. So see, you can just easily get it by mashing Ocarina. It's absolutely not inconsistent. You actually don't need the Flames, please. So yeah, since you can't go down a layer, you can fall down, and that's basically why this cutscene OG is good. But Flame still decided to hit the switch. Alright, so Darky Screen has cool stuff coming up. This is Coolness that is getting, or not. You can like use a bomb to send back the cannonballs, and use the sword for the two last ones, but it's kind of precise and you only really have one shot at it. Unless you know that you absolutely messed up at the very start, but you really just have one shot at it for it to be faster. Because you need to reset the room otherwise. Alright, so if you don't really know DHC, there's a lot of rooms, and there's a lot of things to do. But the core idea is that in order to get to Vade, you need the big key, and in order to get the big key, you need 4 small keys. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get 4 small keys as fast as possible. And in order to do that, we're going to use glitches, of course. And the current glitch is great. Also, if you fail, if you bonk anywhere here, if you self lock, you go back, because like this is the first time you do a current glitch in a while. You go back to Big Octo fight, and it's kind of bad, just a bit. So again, if you watch glitch test runs, this dungeon is has a lot more fighting and puzzles than what we're going to see here. Flame is having a lot of trouble with this Blue Bjork thing. I think there's like 6 more darkness fight. Oh no! Flame. Okay, still have a fairy. Alright, so as I said, Blue Bjork is a pattern fight, but for some reason, a lot of people who are struggling to get a good time, which I would say is like a sub 152. It's not a very, very good time, but it's a good time. Most people are struggling with this fight, so I really encourage anyone watching this who is currently having struggle with this game, just practice this fight a lot. Because once you know the pattern, it's really not that bad. It's really bad. It's really not bad. You really should like learn the pattern and have good strats for every cycle. Because you can just always repeat the same actions and it's always going to work out fine. Alright, so right here, this is the last Ocarina glitch that we're doing in the run on Darky's stream. And that's in order to skip those doors, because we are going backward through those rooms thanks to Ocarina glitch. So we just got that's value above this door, so we have fast access to it with both the red warp and well, the red warp really. Now we are going to. We have 3 keys, so we still need one more small key. So we are going to get the blue warp in order to get to the big key room easily. And there you go. So this dark nut is done. It's a really easy fight. If you do the strat, the problem is the strat is kind of weird to do. So it's still like, if you're familiar with darkness fight, if you know like how to handle them, it's not too bad if you mess up the strat, but it's still slower, so you may as well go for it. Also, now that we have the 4 sword, darkness like that die in 3 hits instead of 4 before. So they're really not that strong. Darky is just having trouble hitting them. So the cape allow us to have some good access to their weaknesses. It's just a little tricky to use and learn. Even if you're used to it, it's just not always free as hell, easy every time. Darkness Farda is still like a pain. There you go, he's getting his last small key. So after that, it's faster to do a soft reset in order to get the big key. And because we're doing a soft reset, we can manipulate RNG again. As I explained, the RNG is always the same, so if you do always the same inputs, you're always going to get the same result. And I say inputs, but really all you need to do is have the same amount of slashes, same amount of rolls, and the same amount of like whatever item you want to use. And that makes long mana easy to do as long as there is no enemy in the screen, because enemies change their RNG quite often. But this area, there's like no enemies in it, or like you're always going up or killing them or whatever. So it's not too bad. And what you're trying to achieve here with this RNG minute is that when you trigger the darkness fight, you're going to want the first dark move to charge at you. And as we explained before, charge is good because it allows us to just kill them in one go. And it's still true for darkness that have more HP than those that we fought until now. And the idea with the latest strats we have is to make 2 of them or 3 of them do that pattern. Darky only got the first one, but the first one has more HP, and once there is one down, it's not too hard to handle 2 at the same time. You kind of need to adapt to whatever they're doing, but it's really not that bad. Alright, so Flames missed cutscene skip, cutscene walking. He's entering DHC right now, and Flames, while we're doing that, we can kind of focus on what's happening on Darky's stream. So he's fighting Vade, 3 forms of Vade. First one is kind of fixed. You just don't want to get hit by the fire because they hit you for a lot of damage, and if you get hit, you are on fire. If you hit him 5 times every time, you're gonna get 5 cycles. You can get to 6 one though if you're kinda unlucky or slow at hitting him. I think he's getting an extra cycle. The only annoying part is whenever he teleports, it's a random amount that he can do. So Darky tried to get the fairy here, but couldn't really, because what you want to do is that once you hit the 3rd cycle, you want to always be close to him whenever he releases his eyes, because they're going to have some protection and you can get rid of them all at the same time. So Vade 2, now we're going to use Arrow Cancel, like I explained before, in order to hit the 4 eyes. It can be the same 4 eyes on all 4 patterns, or 4 cycles. And I'm saying 4 cycles, but really, you can actually skip the 4th cycle with Spin Attack, because Vade's 2 health bar is kind of glitched. And skipping the 4th cycle is pretty great, because this fight is only really a pain when the 3rd cycle starts, because it starts going much faster. His attacks are much more threatening. He just has a really, really high tendency to troll. By far the hardest fight of the 3, because the others are just like Vade 1 is pretty fixed and is not that threatening. Vade 3 is kind of threatening, but it's really heavily patterned. So once you hit Vade 3 with enough HP, you should be fine. Worth noting as well that it's better to hit Vade 2 in a clockwise formation, to clone clockwise, because it gives better hit chance. Kinda, you don't need to. The position isn't as finicky. All right, so Flames is getting his 2nd small key. And after that is going to go for the backward DHC section. Meanwhile, Darky is going to go and fight Vade 3. And we'll see how this goes. I hope that he's probably going to pick up a fairy first though, because only 2 hertz is kind of spook, and it's quite far ahead. Because right now, like, if he dies, then that gives a much higher chance to Flames to catch up. Because dying in to Valis really just makes you lose 7 minutes or something. It's really bad. Alright, so this fight is in 2 parts. You first need to destroy the arms, and then throw back the blue balls that Vadi is sending back at you. There is a way to manipulate the second phase if that is positioned properly, kinda. It's kinda weird though. Alright, so it's pretty self-explanatory the way this fight works. So I'm just going to let my throat heal a little bit because it's kind of dead right now. Alright, second arm down. Now the blue balls, they're quite finicky to hit. So Vality's 3 really has 2 attacks, but you can manipulate the attack that you want to happen and not seeing the second one. But that's not gonna work. Yep. He was slightly too far to the left. Again, this part of the fight is way more finicky than what it should be, but it's what it is. This is too far, yeah, too far to the left again. And time. 1:51:12. I don't know what his SRL time is, but congrats on DarkySquid for winning this race. And I think up next against him will be Quo or Vlak, depending on whoever wins. But meanwhile, well, Flames is still finishing up DHC. He's on the last stretch.
And Darky's final SL time was a 1:51:29. So congrats on that. And yeah, his next opponent will be either Kuro or Vlak. So
yeah. So okay, so it's kind of funny because if you look at his timer, it's 1:51:12. Well, like his SRL time is like 12 seconds higher, right? And he said that that's because his internet is so bad that his SRL connection is really laggy, so he loses like 5 seconds to the timer start. It's pretty silly. Flames is having a lot of trouble with his finale. Flames overall got really a lot of trouble with everything. You can really feel the rust. Oh boy, Darky using a mic. Is it going to happen? It is, hopefully. I actually never heard Darky's voice because it doesn't stream as a mic. Alright, so Flames, meanwhile, is not really going for any manip whatsoever. He's just trying to make it through. So hopefully he gets a good pattern here with the Darknuts, because considering how much trouble he had with the other Darknut fight, still got a good pattern at the start. Not much better after that, but you can't really up for more than a charge. Hey, don't worry, we heard Fire Turtles one. It's fine. Besides, you'll be with a fellow Frenchman. Big Octo, I think, gave warning to both, if I remember correctly. I didn't pay attention too much to Flames Octo at the time, but... Is he on the Aspiration? No. Alright, rip credit. Make sure to switch audio, because Darky is going to end stream. And that way we're going to have audio for the fight for Flames.
I was on Flames audio all along because his audio was at a decent volume while Darky's wasn't, so that's not a big deal.
Okay. Alright, so worth mentioning that there is a fairy on the bottom left, bottom right spot if you really want it on this fight.
And we welcome Darky, by the way. So, hi Darky. Hey, you're quiet.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry about the slideshow thing.
It's okay,
fine.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. So, how do you feel about this run besides that?
I mean, the start was pretty fine. Like, at Ocarina I was at 1 hour and 10 seconds or something. But, yeah, then I got pretty much distracted by my internet. And I started to play bad too.
Yeah. Still ended with like 152, right? So it's...
I mean, object...
Yeah, 151 is still a time that most people would dream of. But like, so what? How did you die exactly? Because we couldn't see it on the stream.
I wanted to like see if I could make my internet better, and I did that right before Blue Chew, and yeah, it took a bit too much time, and I got killed by the Chew without doing anything.
Oh yeah, so that's where most of your time loss came from.
Like few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, because like while your internet was down, we did not really see you die, and like the timer was 4 minutes behind at some point, so we don't. It felt like you weren't that. Not much happened, but it was actually a lot, and you lost like 4 minutes.
Yeah, then I had to restart my stream.
Otherwise, there was a lot of things that went right. I can't think of anything that was like really bad. You got good Ocarina glitches, good Valley.
Really, but yeah, it was okay. Valley
yeah,
was
I mean
fine.
much better than Flames, at least, that had a lot of trouble with them.
Yeah, but the beginning was pretty good. Like Fortress of Winds was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it wasn't really
everything in early game looked really good. Did not get oh yeah, I saw that you went for bufferless Battle of Ocarina glitch.
I don't think buffers are of any use actually, so I'm just YOLOing it and hoping it will work.
Yeah, I totally relate with that, because I have the same consistency with buffered as bufferless. And actually, like, funnily enough, Flames got it
Yeah, I saw that in the chat. Yeah.
He basically like mashed Ocarina and somehow got it. That was pretty nice.
That's the only true technique.
And the big thing though is that like his Ocarina glitches were really bad, and he died on the raindrop section of Montreal. So
Yeah.
that's where he lost a lot of
That's
time.
quite sad. Yeah.
He really like you could really feel the rust on your opponent. Anyway, next match, Quo or Vlak. Who do you think is going to win? I think you already have like
Quo would win, but I don't know if Black has played a lot recently.
it's going to come down to whether or not Vlak derusted or not, because I think that Vlak still has a better PB than Ko.
And I mean, he got a 152 in his previous match, so that's not too bad. I want to say.
Yeah, I mean that's about like that's pretty funny because all four of us, Vlak, PPL, Ko, and me, we pretty much just have the same time. We have the same consistency. We are pretty much on par and everything, and it's just going to be a really interesting match. I don't know when the match is scheduled actually. I think it's not yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's scheduled yet.
Alright, Flames is finishing up. He's on Validis 3. Alright, anything you want to say before...
Not really.
Alright. And do you want to like stay for commentary? Because I'm dying here. That's where it's dead.
Yeah, I don't have the stream open.
Yeah, okay.
I will
So,
help. So, Flames just destroyed
okay.
the arm thing of this weird enemy with the no, just kidding. Next cycle against Vadi here.
I have actually another question for you, and like could interest anyone in the chat. What what's your tip? What's your secret about like getting good at Minish Cap?
I don't know. I just practiced everything a lot until it works like every time, and so yeah, I don't have to practice things anymore, and yeah.
And so practice consistency. That sounds about right, really.
Yeah, play on keyboard is correct, and doing OG Modern too.
Oh yeah, right. I absolutely forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention that. I wanted to as well. I'm pulling a Toads here. Anyway, congrats on Flames finishing with a 201.55. I don't think he's happy with it, but there it is.
It happens, I guess. Sometimes you just have to deal with getting a bad run. But I hope Flames is still joining us for an interview, and I would be happy if he did.
Yeah, there you go. You make faster messages because you don't make sentences. That's how you win. Dang it.
It's just waiting for Flames here, and yeah, Darky, who do you want to face more in the next round? Is it Kuro or is it Vlak?
I never really watched Vlak, so.
Well, I just hope for you that you're not going to play as well against Flames and against Vlak or Kuro, because those two are. If you do the same run against them, then against really Flame, yeah, there is a pretty good chance that you do. There is a good chance that you don't make it if you do. So better practice or get ready, guys. Do your best, and maybe you can topple DarkySquid.
So let's move over to the inner screen because Flames is about to join. And here we go. So you can see the final times again. And once Flames is joining us, we can still talk a bit about the rest of the tournament, how it's to pan out. So, actually, something I never asked any of you. Who's going to take the entire thing? Like Grand.
Me.
You!
Nah. It's not gonna happen. I want third place because I know I can get it.
So-
But I'm
Sup,
rooting
Flames?
for Darky here.
You're rooting
Rooting
for Darky.
for the Frenches. French team. We won the World Cup. We can win this tournament.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about the World Cup.
The salt is here. Mbappe.
Flames,
Oh my-
welcome.
So
So,
hi. Thank you.
I guess you are not that satisfied with your run, I guess.
Not at all. Although I did expect the time to be like a lot worse.
What really?
So I think basically from the start, and especially after the Colonel death, like my mind was just not in it, and
Yeah.
I flubbed quite a lot of things. I'm gonna go back and like listen to Legrand point out all my flubs afterwards.
I did point out a few things here and there, but not that much because I'm busy like explaining stuff. But
Yeah.
like,
Explaining
the
what
one
happened
thing
on
that
the
I mentioned,
slideshow.
the one thing that I did mention was like your Georg fight was oof.
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah.
That was not that great. Also, shout outs to getting Casino Current Glitch with just spamming A and hoping it works. That was
I tried.
Or just spammed A
yeah.
or B. I mean, but
Yeah,
Anyway.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't
So
really pay
one
attention
good
to
thing I did.
your to your life in Montreal, but like, did you just get unlucky or something? I don't know.
So I got trolled by the P hat and Tektite for the mushroom.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
And that brought me down to a quarter of a heart, and then a raindrop got me. So
trouble on Montreal as well. Going to the grip ring room, for example,
Yeah.
that's what I remember. And well, the climb, even on the second try, you got hit like 3 times by boulder. That was oof.
I got
Not
a
hit,
rock
not fun.
at that point too, but that wasn't too bad. As I did not get
So,
trolled, at least by the P hat.
so can we talk about Big Octo, or do you just don't want to talk about it?
Well, I got
Missing 2 boulders.
I got super squeezed. Like I don't know. I guess I should have just gotten away from him.
Yeah, that's kind of that's what I'm scared
Yeah.
too as well. Like when Octo gets too close, like you need to get out of his range, but you can't really do that because otherwise you lose some time, and it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to figure out
I
whether or
was
not
I
you
was just in
are
a bad
close to it or
position.
not.
I mean, luckily I managed to get one of them, so I didn't have to sit through another ink. So
Yeah,
that's good at least.
I would have been mad if you got 2 ink when you already had one. Like
Yeah, I mean,
that was it.
I have gotten 3 ink fights before, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah,
Never
it happens sometimes here and there, and you just oof.
Yeah,
Let's
I don't
not-
want.
Let's not talk
I don't
about
want
it.
that.
So
Yeah.
your anything else that you want to mention about your run?
Well, if I just
Anything you
managed
feel
to get
proud
my
of?
that it didn't get worse than what it was. Like if you think about it, there's so much like clear, like so many points where I clearly can save time
Yeah.
that like if I just focus better, then my runs will improve by a lot.
I'm
And
definitely
I think like when I'm in my right mind, I'm getting back to the level which I used to be on when I was more active.
Mhm.
So I kind
Yeah.
of want to
Want to
try
improve? Want to come back?
I want to improve. I still am like short on time, I guess, when it comes to like being able to play a lot. But I want to try to get at least a little bit of practice in before my next race. So
Yeah, it's going to take a while before losers catch up.
yeah.
Sadly.
So
Hint,
I am.
people, do your races.
I know I'll be waiting for Kanemojo against Blue Danes.
Mhm.
Loki, a little bit hoping that I will face Blue Danes because I was actually at a big Smash tournament where he was also playing and he beat me in doubles. So I kind of want to get my revenge. But I'm hoping it's going to be a good race, but it would be cool to get that run back.
Yeah, get practice. Yeah, get back into the game, and I'm sure you can. If you put the time into it, I'm sure you can hit 152 and get on my level. I remember when you were better than me at this game, and now I'm better than you. So you better come back.
You were always better. You were just running Hondo all the time.
Why would you?
Right.
Why would you actually run Hondo, Legrand?
It's so much more fun.
What?
It's incredibly more fun.
When I was running,
there's like 30.
Sorry.
There's 35 minutes of figures, but
Yeah.
there's so much things you do. It's just incredible.
But there's 35 minutes of fucking.
Well, yeah, it's bad, but I mean, it's also non-trivial as well. It's not trivial as well. So like, you need to put practice in it. It's kind of annoying, but like honestly, I really love the category. I still like it more than 80%. 80% now is much better than when it was back then when Zero was in Flipper Skip, but 100% is so much fun.
When I was
Really, more people should get into the run and check out the route, because there's a lot of cool glitches. There's a lot of cool stuff that's going on, and like, sure, figuring is daunting and it's annoying, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
This conversation kind of derailed a bit.
A bit. So Flames, next up you are facing the winner of Kanemojo versus Blue Danes, which is actually happening this weekend.
It is actually scheduled. Okay.
Yeah, it's scheduled for Sunday. So
nice.
Who do we want to face
Looking
more?
Forward.
I already mentioned Blue Danes.
I mentioned Blue Danes because I want to get my run back from Hyrule Saga when he and his teammate beat me and my teammate in doubles.
Oh. That's a feud.
So there's he's 1-0 against me. So far I kind of want to bring that back to 1-1. But I also think that if I were to race Kanemojo, that would be an incredibly close race if we're both on our A game. So I think that would be a really exciting race to watch.
Yeah, Kanemojo really improved fast ever since he came back to the game, and I feel like I don't know. I have a trouble in telling, like, am I going to root for my friend Flames, or am I going to root for the Frenchie? Kinda, I don't know. See? Practice more, and I might considering the first.
What if I practice French for a week?
Ooh.
Just kidding.
How about learning a good language?
Like
not German.
Not German, for sure.
I already speak German, so.
How about I don't know.
Yeah.
Swiss German.
Swiss German. Dang it.
Yeah, sure. Guys, you need to go to bed.
I need to have another 6-hour stream today, so no.
What's coming up?
Coming up next is in 45 minutes the first loser brackets match of the Ocarina of Time randomizer tournament. So we are saying goodbye to the first player today. and
Oh boy.
that will be something. So
Alright.
one of the players playing today is actually Max, who's the initial founder of Zelda speedruns. So I kind of have to root for him.
Well, there you go.
I know. He's probably pretty busy because his wife is about to what
Give
was
birth?
Yeah, give birth to their first child this week. So
Oh, so he's going to forfeit because of that. Okay, gotcha.
or maybe he's just
I would.
playing the run of his life to be done as fast as possible. So
Mm.
and
All right.
All right.
Alright, I guess we'll just cut it here. Wow, the double. Okay. I guess we'll cut here and yeah, thanks for watching everyone. Thanks Legrand for the commentary. GG to both Darky and Flames. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
we'll see you guys in the next round, I guess. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching everyone.
Excited. Thank you.